Okay, Rasa. The first question is, what are the key aspects of your learning and development throughout the short course under each of the following headings: the knowledge, skills and personal qualities?
Okay, so let's take it one by one. Starting with knowledge. The very first night when I started the MA, when we received the message about the fact that there's the welcoming videos, the description of the course, I will look in and everything, and I logged on onto the VLE. I immediately encountered the concept of the magic triangle that I've never heard before. And it was a very nice start because it immediately put me into a framework of the way to approach the learning that we follow, of the way to read the text, of the way to think about these studies. So for me, even though throughout the course we have criticized the magic triangle as maybe it's a different shape, how do we draw it, what do we put in it, I still agree with the very initial idea of the magic triangle as a useful tool to think about youth studies and youth work in general, or youth realities, youth situation, the situation of the field in general. So for me, the research policy practice corners and the triangle was a very, very useful tool, and I have never before explicitly thought about the relationships between the three corners, maybe unconsciously, and very little, to be honest, about the research, maybe unconsciously or in practice as a youth worker. A bit I thought about the policy corner as well, and how it sometimes used to help me or sometimes get in my way in my work. But I really like this challenge, or kind of a request throughout the course, for us to think explicitly about the relationships, the dynamics between the corners, and that was a really, really useful piece of knowledge that I gained. More, and since there's a lot, not for my professors to die of boredom listening to this, I will highlight only 2 more points of learning in terms of knowledge. The other point for me that was important was theory. The theoretical lectures in the seminar were my favorite part of the course, and I really enjoyed listening to a structured, well-articulated information that made sense out of my reality, out of my experiences and the knowledge that I already had. So for me, it was like a renewed appreciation of theory. So I really enjoyed that. And in Lynn's words, theory helps to transform disconnected pieces of information into knowledge. Pieces of information being the reality, youth reality, reality of the field. So really the theory as a tool to produce knowledge that can later be applied in practice is so useful. And during the seminar, we applied a very useful metaphor of glasses, theory as glasses that helps us see more clearly. And as a person who's wearing glasses every day, completely dependent on my glasses, I can appreciate this metaphor very, very well. A day without glasses is a difficult and confusing one. So work without knowledge that could support the structures or the work you do, your practice, is also a difficult and confusing one and not as effective. So definitely renewed appreciation of theory. And the last point is the European Knowledge Center for Youth Policy. That was another useful thing I discovered thanks to this course. And as much as we criticized it in a positive sense for giving advice for the development of it, it's a good starting point. And I think it's a really nice resource for me to know, especially as I entered the course aware of my lack of knowledge in terms of policy, and knowing about this website or this tool or this resource in general, I think for me it's a very good starting point. So the second part of the first question, the skills. To be honest, I don't feel like I acquired any new particular skills. I have not developed any new particular skills, maybe due to the fact that the course was quite short. I would say that I rather had to dust off and apply the skills that I already have and use them during the course. Research skills. I do have a lot of experience in research, academic research, so it was more like I have to use my knowledge from before. I guess one new thing and not new thing at the same time I could talk about is the VLE, the virtual learning environment that we used to accommodate this course, as it was mostly learning through distance, with the exception of the 1-week seminar. And why is it old? Is because not entirely a new skill, is because I am used to using technology as a tool, mostly. So what was new about it was the fact that it was a learning environment. So it wasn't really on a technical level that the shift had to happen to me, and having to download my assignments or articles or interact with professors and my peers online. The shift that had to happen for me was the fact that it was not a tool but an environment, a learning environment. And regrettably, I have to say, I don't think it fully happened for me, because I continued to treat VLE mostly as a tool. I go and get my articles, I read the course announcements, I upload my assignments, I see what my peers are up to, but it never reached the level of the classroom for me. If I have to compare my experience on VLE to that of the seminar, I must say that as soon as I was in Budapest, I felt so invested, so connected to my peers, so connected to this course. I was fully engaged. Whereas in VLE, because I treated it as a tool and not as an environment, I felt disconnected. And I think it's unfortunate, but most probably, definitely not the fault of VLE. It was a great learning environment. Andreas, you are God. But most probably it's my personal fault that I didn't manage to do that shift from tool to environment. And also, not everything works for everybody. So I think it's also useful to discover what kind of learner I am, which brings me into the personal qualities and the next point of reflection in the first question. So in terms of my personal qualities, once again I have to say that I can't say I developed some particular personal quality to a large extent, because it was such a short course, only 3 months, and as I already indicated, with the exception of the 1-week seminar, to an extent I remained disconnected from VLE. I remained distant, so it wasn't as intense experience as it could have been or should have been for me. So, as I said, the kind of learner I am. So to begin with, now I know I'm not going to do an online course. Explicitly, never. I will never get a full master's of PhD on a distant learning. Yeah. I realized that what works best for me and what motivates me, keeps me motivated and connected, is working with people. I need that, and I saw the value of being in an intellectual environment with live people rather than online, because the thinking, the reflection, the ideas that were going on in my mind during Budapest cannot be compared on any level to the rest of the experience on VLE. And also in terms of motivation, I think I need intellectual stimulation. The presence of intellectual stimulation for me is necessary to keep my process of thinking going. And not only with this short course, in general I'm noticing it in my life, but this short course again increases my self-awareness, and I can see that I work best when I am fully engaged in an environment with other people. As everyone knows, I'm crazy about dance. I can give an analogy with dance. As much as I love it, I don't push myself as hard in my room to learn dances as I could. There are tools, there are online videos, I have a bunch of dance DVDs, and I could practice a lot on my own. I do, but I never work as hard as I do in dance festivals or workshops when I'm surrounded by other people who are trying to learn, and when I have one person, a live person, who's guiding me. So it's good to increase my self-awareness and be conscious in the future how I allocate my time and resources when I make my choices for learning and development. So I definitely need to focus on working with other people.